All right, so we are live. I'm gonna check the page real quick to make sure that we are showing up right now. Let's see here. If you guys can see me or see Larry, let us know in the comments below. We're coming at you live tonight. It is Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for those of you who are in our time zone. Let's see here. Okay, awesome. We're showing up. So, hey everyone. Nice to see you tonight. I'm Julie. I am the Director of Operations here at Legendary Marketer, and I am so pleased to have an amazing guest trainer on tonight. Some of you may know him, Larry Beechum. He is one of our legendary coaches, and he has an amazing story. He is an amazing trainer. If you were at our last event, you guys got to experience firsthand the training that Larry does. Not only was he our MC, but he led an awesome training. We had great feedback from everybody saying, wow, I didn't know, Larry was that great of a trainer. And so, I wanted to have him on tonight because he is going to talk about, an amazing topic, influence, which is huge in the marketplace right now. That's a way to attract your customers to you. And Larry, I don't want to steal your thunder. I want you to come on. I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. For those of you who may not know him, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your backstory, and then let's roll right into this training that you have planned for us tonight.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here. Like I was just a second ago, I'm on my cup of coffee. It's been a powerful day. I'm excited. Legendary Marketer is making some major headway. So first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity to train here at Legendary Marketer. My past, my history, that's all part of my presentation tonight. So I'm going to definitely dive into that very heavy. But for those of you that don't know, I'm a veteran to the world of digital marketing. I've been out here since 2009. March of 2009, March 5th of 2009 specifically was the first time I ever entered this world. As a former cable installer, I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. I was basically trying to survive and ended up joining a marketing system, paid $1 to try it. And I took it serious, and it changed my life. It really did. It transformed me. So some of you know my story. I'll get into that in a minute. But let me just say this as we get going. The subject matter tonight is at the heart of everybody's success or failure. It really is. And it's not just about digital marketing or online marketing. It's about life. Because what you're about to discover and what I'm going to cover is, if you really pay attention to what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it, there's going to be some significant changes that you will make starting right after this broadcast. Matter of fact, maybe even during this broadcast, because some of the things that you're influenced by are dictating your current situation, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, professionally, interpersonally, you name it. And it's about time that we got real serious about those things. So tonight, my goal is to basically bring you to a place of understanding that you can influence your way to wealth. You can have all the skills, all the talent, all the ability, all the training, but at the end of the day, the power of influence is your real X factor. And I'd like to show you a new way to look at influence and show you how you can use it to your advantage to make money, whether you're involved in Legendary or not. Certainly, we're here to help with that, but I'm excited to cover that content. So whoever's out there, I can't see the chat or who's there. So whoever's out there, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Trust me, you do not want to be distracted. You don't want to be playing on Facebook right now, because some of you are doing that. You don't want to be distracted by your cat or your dog. I have 6 kids, and I guarantee you one of them will probably knock on the door in a minute, even though I told them I'm doing this. So I've given everybody the word that I need to do what I got to do with you guys. So give me the same respect. Give me your full attention. It's going to be worth it. Trust me.
Yeah, guys, pay attention to what Larry's about to tell you, because I know, like I said, I know the type of trainer that he is. He brings amazing value. So if you do have other browsers open, other windows open, shut that crap down right now and just focus on Larry and pay attention to everything he's about to tell you, because it is gold. So take it away,
Awesome.
friend.
So let me do a screen share here. Make sure that you can see me here. Just give me a shout. Let me know you can see my desktop. Can you see it?
I'm going to check the chat. I see it. You guys see his page? Let us know. Yep, Larry, we got it. You're good.
Awesome. All right, so let's jump into this thing. So I kind of hit it a little bit, but let me just give you a little bit of my background for those that don't know. I mentioned I'm a former cable installer from Ohio. Yes, I'm the real Larry the Cable Guy. For those of you that know who that is, I'm the real Theo. I drove a cable truck for almost a decade in Ohio, seen all kind of stuff, smelled all kind of stuff, experienced all kind of stuff. And in 2008, I almost got electrocuted on a pole. Big story behind that. Thank God I did not hit the power line, but I climbed down off that pole and I went home and pulled myself together and walked by the window and I saw my wife changing one of our kids' diapers, and it crossed my mind that this could have been the day that she got a knock on the door from one of the police or something explaining that I was gone. So that was the catalyst to me beginning to try to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And I knew nothing about internet marketing, so I didn't jump right into this thing. I sort of was backed into it. But anyway, over the last 8 years, I've had some amazing success online. Former #1 income earner in a network marketing company in the state of Ohio. I've been a #1 income earner in multiple affiliate programs. Back in 2014, I got a certification as a digital marketer. So there's a lot of things I've accomplished over the last 8 years. But the most important thing that I've learned is no matter what I'm doing, I have to be focused on developing myself. I have to be focused on evolving as a person. Larry the Cable Guy could not have turned into Larry the Champion Builder entrepreneur. There's no way. Those two guys couldn't exist in the same world. So I had to let one go to pick up the other. And that was a tough battle because up to that point, I had been that way for 40 plus, almost 40 years. And it was a major adjustment to who I am and what I am. But I've written books. I've been training since full time since about 2014, 2015. There's easily a couple hundred people that I've worked with one-on-one, thousands of people I've helped through different venues like videos and trainings, etc. But at the end of the day, the most important thing that I'm here to do is get you some results. So if you're here for results, I'm going to hopefully help you get some more results. So that's basically my story. I don't want to focus on me now. I want to focus on what I'm here to talk about, and that's influence marketing. So you're going to ask yourself, well, what is that? You probably heard of influence. You probably heard of marketing. But tonight, my goal is to put the two together to help you understand how you need to master not only who you influence, but master what's influencing you. Okay? So that being said, here's a question. Think about these questions. Why do we do this kind of stuff? Why do we take pictures with celebrities and athletes? I've done it. I was at an event not too long ago, and the legendary motivational speaker Les Brown walked through the front door of a hotel right by me. All right. And I tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Sir, I would love to take a picture with you." And he's like, "Absolutely, let's do it." So here I am taking a picture with Les Brown. I was in Miami, Florida, in a hotel, another hotel at an event, and I was walking by the counter, and Roy Jones Jr. was leaning against the counter. Now, if you don't know who that is, Roy Jones Jr. is a soon-to-be Hall of Fame boxer. He is my favorite boxer of all time. And there he was leaning against the counter in a Miami hotel. And I walked up to Roy and I took a picture with Roy Jones. I was at another event and Hulk Hogan was there. I got in a line and stood for 45 minutes to take a picture with a Hulk Hogan. So I got Les Brown, Hulk Hogan, Roy Jones Jr., and others who I've taken pictures with. So why would I do that? And I'm not talking about that just because I'm a regular Joe that wants people to see that, but why do I want to be in a picture with someone like that? We'll get back to that. Why do we drive certain type of vehicles? Why do we live in certain kind of neighborhoods? Or why are we wanting to do that? Why are we showing pictures of people of our lifestyle, showing pictures of our lifestyle to people? Why are we bragging about how much money we make, for those of you? And here's my favorite. Why are people lying on Facebook? In other words, why are they positioning things to look like something they're really not? Why? The answer is because we're trying to influence people. We are trying to influence people, if nothing else, for them to think something of us that may or may not even be true. That's why we do what we do. Why do women put on makeup? Because they're trying to influence. They're trying to. Why do men wear suits and ties? Why do we study? So that we can get degrees and pedigrees and certifications and designations and awards? Is because we're trying to influence people. But the problem, though, for most people is that their influence is in a vacuum. They just want to feel like they're known. They just want to feel like people see them as somebody of value. That's why we take pictures with celebrities and all the other stuff. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, influence is the most important asset to what it is that you do. Let me tell you a quick story about my own, just today alone. I was on a phone call here at Legendary Marketer. Most of you know that I'm a back-end coach. And so I'm on my third or fourth call with this guy. And he basically tells me about a minute into our call that he looked me up, and his comment like, man, you're a pretty popular guy. Now, I don't know what he looked up. I didn't ask him. I just said, okay. But I know that because he looked me up and he went on probably YouTube and saw a couple hundred videos of myself doing trainings or others talking about me, or maybe he went to Amazon and saw that I wrote 3 books, or maybe he saw me crossing stages at events, because all of that stuff is out there. But what it did was it set the stage for the rest of my conversation with this guy to be smooth. Why? Because all of that influence has got to believe that I was somebody that he wanted to respect and listen to. And by the way, he bought a $2,500 product today. So when I talk about the power of influence, you definitely want to have the power of influence. So why do I have this graphic here? Think about what Coca-Cola discovered about influence. See, I saw this picture and that made me laugh. If I'm at a carryout, and when Coke first started doing this, I thought it was kind of corny till I saw my name on the bottle. Then all of a sudden it wasn't corny anymore. Because what is Coca-Cola doing? They understand that when you see your own name, especially on a bottle of Coke or anything like that, you instantaneously feel a connection. Coke is influencing you to buy a Coke. Obviously, if I wanted to buy a Coke, I'd normally buy a Coke, but with my name on it, it's going to cause me to bypass pretty much a lot of other options. My wife just today showed me, this was funny. She showed me, we have a piece of mail that came in here and it said custom made purse for Rolanda Beechum. And the picture was her name all over this nice, it almost looked like a Louis Vuitton bag. The same color scheme and everything, same layout, but it was her initials and her name on the actual little fake gold tag. They wanted $149 for this purse. Why was my wife considering it? Because they influenced her by putting her name on that purse. Influence is everything. So what's the definition of influence? Let's talk about that. It's the capacity to have an effect on the character, the development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. In other words, it is around us, it is in us, it is through us, it is who we are. We use terms like we're under the influence. When you hear under the influence, typically we're talking about drugs or alcohol. But let me just say something that might be very shocking to all of you, and this is why you got to take this influence thing incredibly serious. We are all under the influence of someone or something every second of the day. It was influence that got you to jump onto this call. I don't know what or who, but it was influence that got you here. Every second that you're here with me, I am continuously influencing you to be here because of something I'm saying. I said I down like my 14th or 15th cup of coffee. Whatever's in that cup is influencing my biochemistry, mainly to keep me awake and focused. As I take a breath right now, as you take a breath, you are under the influence of something in the atmosphere. And it might be so small and minuscule that you don't recognize it, but trust me, it's mixing with who you are and it's creating a climate. It's creating a mood, it's creating an attitude, it's creating an energy level, it's influencing you. The things that you've been listening to all day long, whether you were focused on it or was just buzzing in the background, was making an influence on you. When you scrolled up and down Facebook today, and you started looking at stuff, you get those that mix of emotions from excitement to anger to frustration to disgust, to whatever, thought-provoking, inspirational. That is influence. So we're basically like fish in a bowl. We are immersed in some sort of an influence every single day. So if that's true, doesn't it make sense? Doesn't two things make critical sense? Number one, that you should be very, very discriminating on what you allow to influence you. When you put that fork to your mouth, trust me, when you bite, chew, and swallow, it's going to create an influence on your weight, on your blood pressure, on your whatever. When you swallow, when you look, when you listen, it all matters. So that's number one. And number two, if it's that powerful, shouldn't you take advantage of knowing how powerful that can be in people's lives? When I post on Facebook, I post for intent. I very rarely post stuff that I believe won't influence someone in a positive way, because I know that everybody at every second of the day will be influenced by something. So if you have fears, you've been influenced by something to get you to believe that you should be afraid of it. If you have hesitation, it's because something influenced you to hesitate. If you have guts, something's influencing those guts. Does that make sense? So you're driven by influence at every step of the way, and it's what drives us, it's what connects us, it's what motivates us, it's what demotivates us. Influence. These are the top 5 things that you're influenced by right now. Number 1 is the environment, which I just talked about. The people and things around you. The atmosphere itself. There's things going on in the atmosphere that are influencing you and me. People. The people that we are associate with, the people we connect to, the people we read about, listen about, watch. Some of y'all out here looking at tabloids and watching these goofy YouTube videos. You're under the influence. Media and technology. Billions and billions of dollars are being spent on media and technology. Let me just hang on for that one for a minute. I saw a clip of a documentary that I want to watch. It's all about technology, like your device, and how technology companies have intentionally decided to take over your mind. They set out in a room, this is deep, they set out to figure out how they could take over your mind and get you focused on a screen. And if you don't believe that, okay, walk out your front door anytime you get ready and go into where their people are, and I guarantee you 90% of the people have their face on the screen. The dings, the alerts, the vibrations, the sounds, it's all designed to take control of you. Let me tell you something that Netflix said was their competition. Netflix says that their 2 competition is YouTube and sleep. That's what Netflix says is their only competition. YouTube and sleep. Who are they trying to influence and for what purpose? It's for you to spend your money. Marketing, that's influence. I've had people like the iPhone that just came out, $1,000 iPhone. I'm not judging anybody that buys that, but I've actually seen people get into heated discussions to defend why they would buy an iPhone. Really? That's crazy. But why? Because iPhone or Apple is brilliant at influence. Because when I watched this at a high school, my daughter's high school game. If you pull out an Android with these teens, they look at you like you got 3 heads. If you pull out an Android, perfectly good Android. But if you pull out an iPhone and you pull out the latest iPhone, well, guess what? Now you're in the in crowd. That's what iPhone's intent was, to force you to believe that you are somebody with this freaking iPhone. Let me get off my soapbox. So do you get it? This is why this is important in marketing. Okay, so here are the 6 things that directly we're affected by in our influence. Our mood. How do you feel right now? And why do you feel like that? What choices did you make today? And why did you make those choices? You might give me a reason, but trust me, the undergirding, the foundation, the floor of it all, what's supporting it is the influence. What do you believe? Are you a Christian, a Muslim, an atheist, an agnostic? Whatever. And I'm speaking specifically faith now. What do you believe about money? What do you believe about relationships? Where's that coming from? The decisions that you made, the thoughts you're currently having, and the actions that you take. These are the things that are affected by influence. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time that you take total control of the things that you're influenced by and how you influence others. So there's no escape. There's nothing you can do about it. All right. But it's okay, because today is the day that we start wrapping our mind around how we can benefit from that. Okay. So these are the top 2 goals that we have as entrepreneurs. And I've been saying this up to this point: control our exposure to certain influences, or limit them or eliminate them, and then turn around and harness the power of influence to shape others. What's marketing? Okay. Well, marketing is the action or business of promoting and selling products or services. No, it's not. Marketing is influence, pretty much. Here's an example of that. I was at a clothing store and I did a video in a clothing store, and I talked about how a tag on a pair of jeans is positioned to get you to believe something that's not true so you can take an action. So here's what I said. I was in the clothing store and I saw that this pair of jeans had the manufacturer suggested retail price of $69, right? So imagine a white ticket with it imprinted in black ink, $69, right? But then they had a red marker, and red's a reason why these red. Red's a red marker through the 69, and they had 50% off, so they dropped it down to 39, whatever it was, whatever half is. And then on top of that, they had a one of those stamp sticker things. They had dropped it down to 29 bucks, and they were selling out of those jeans. Oh, I'm getting a deal. They were always going to sell it for $29. But what did they have to do? They had to use all of these psychological triggers and powers of understanding psychology to get you to believe something that's not true so you can take the action they want you to take. That's why marketing is influence. Did you guys know that the word discount is a sales word? Somebody invented that. If you research sales, the word discount is a sales term. It's designed to influence you to believe something that's not true. When you think you're saving 40%, no, you're spending 60%, but they're getting you to spend based on the influence. It's hard to get people to make a decision. Have you ever talked to somebody about your product, service, or opportunity, and the crap coming out of their mouth at you, you could tell that they were under the influence of their mother, their cousin, their uncle, their brother? Because that's how powerful this thing is. So here you are trying to break through all of that. So marketing is truly influence. And you have to learn in marketing how to communicate in the printed word, in the written, in the spoken word, and in video, how to communicate the value that you need to the marketplace. So we talk about marketing and influence. First of all, pre-framing. What's a pre-frame? It's the setup to the main thing that it is that you're there for. I'm going to let you know in advance what's headed your way and the benefits of it, and then that gives you a reason to listen. Marketing is sales and specials. It's ad copy. It's colors. Some of you don't realize that certain colors create an influence on you. Red and yellow are colors of food. When you see those colors without realizing it, sometimes your stomach starts to growl or your mouth starts to water. Certain smells. Have you ever walked into a room and somebody was burning like aromatherapy oil, and all of a sudden you felt this sense of calm come over you? Or you walk into somewhere and it stinks, it brings a whole completely different feeling. Marketing is emotion. When's the last time you sat in a movie theater and watched a movie and cried or laughed? That's an influence on you. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all influence. So let's talk about the 6 areas from which you can create your influence marketing strategy. This is part of the reason why you need to master this. Number 1, your successes. The more successes that you have, the more influence you can have in the marketplace. By the way, that doesn't mean you have to have $1 million. It doesn't mean you have to have 6 figures. Here's what it means. And I learned this a long time ago when I first got online. I saw a guy do a video where he said, hey guys, I'm excited. I'm about to show you how I made my first $100 online. And I looked at that video like, who would care? And then I looked at the view count. It was like 40,000 views. 40,000 views because the guy had a success that others he was positioning that in front of didn't have. The fact that he made $100 was just enough influence to get 40,000 people to watch it. I've seen guys do, I generated my first 10 leads. Let me show you how I did that. Multiple thousand views. So your successes lay the foundation for your marketing influence. Don't wait around to be David Sharp, Larry Beechum, or anybody else that you think is highly successful. Don't compare yourself to me or anybody else, because comparison is a hired assassin of your self-esteem and your self-worth. Don't compare your chapter 1 to my chapter 41. Don't do it. You have value at your level. You have success at your level. So that's one of the things that you can use to influence people. But the more success you get, the more credibility that you'll build, the more authority you'll build, and the more influence. Your experiences. Don't think for one second that your experiences are not influential value as a marketer. I can't tell you the number of times I got on camera and I talked about an experience I've had. I've talked about being fired by clients on camera. That was an experience. I talked about it. I talked about what I learned from it, and I generated leads from telling people I got fired by a client. Some of y'all wouldn't dare do that, but I did it because I understand that it makes me real. It makes me human. It makes me tangible and touchable and reachable and genuine. So I talk about my experiences as a father of 6, being married for 20 years successfully, but the struggles there too. I talk about all that stuff, but it's influence. Your skills are influence. Now, let me tell you something that most of you think you should avoid, and that's your failures. You should lead with your failures. Huh? I should lead with my failures? Yes, you should lead with them. Because the moment you try to hide and fake people out, the more people start to recognize you not as being authentic, and they don't want to do business. Good friend of mine, Steve Hopper, spent almost 10 years in prison right out of high school. Matter of fact, he got into a fight in high school and almost killed a kid. Kid didn't die, went into a coma, but he survived. But because my friend got into this brawl, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison, spent 8 of 10 years in prison. Today, Steve has written a book called From Prison to Purpose. And he travels around the country on a platform of failure, talking about how he went to prison and what happened and all of that. But now he's talking about how that led to some of the greatest successes of his life. So your failure is influence. Your training is influence. Your gifts and talents are influence. Some of you are naturally gifted and talented at things that you're not leveraging in the right way for the marketplace to respect who you are. Okay, so this is one of my favorite subjects, is the mountain of value or the mountain of influence. So let me introduce you to what that means. I want you to think about something in particular that you know really well or that you're passionate about. Okay, it doesn't have to be business for this example, but I want you to understand the influence power that you have as a business owner. I'm going to use myself as an example. Facebook ads. Okay, Facebook ads. I'm going to use that as an example. So I want you to think about a mountain. Get a picture of a mountain in your mind. And we're going to call that mountain Mount Facebook ads. And on that mountain is everything that could ever be known about running a Facebook ad. Now, at the top of Mount Facebook ads, at the very peak of it, are the gurus, the best-selling authors, the million-dollar earners, blah, 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 right? Sitting at the top of that mountain. And now at the base of that mountain, at base camp, are the people that know absolutely nothing about it. They've heard of it. They're on Facebook. They have a business. They want to run ads, but they're afraid. They've had failures, whatever, and they want to start climbing up that mountain to get results. Well, I want you to see myself standing on like the 15,000-foot elevation. So I'm not at the top of this mountain, and I'm not certainly at base camp, but I'm somewhere up the mountain. There I am standing, and I'm looking down at the people at base camp. And I'm saying things to them that cause them to be able to start climbing up that mountain. Well, guess what? Wherever I'm standing on that mountain and below is what I like to call the money zone. The money zone. And it's the money zone that I have the most influence in. It's the place that I've had my skills honed. It's the place where I've failed and succeeded. It's the space where I've developed skills and talents and successes. That's where I'm most valuable. So when I cut my phone on in the mornings and I stand outside and I start talking on my Facebook Live and I put a headline on the video, there's a certain percentage of people that will show up because my headline influenced them to come. And then they're going to listen to me talk about what I know. And then a certain percentage of them, when I give a call to action, are going to follow that call to action to my website. And then they're going to opt into my site. And then the rest is a relationship that'll be cultivated. So it doesn't really matter at this point how much success or lack thereof that you really have in terms of dollars and cents. What matters more than that is understanding that the power of influence is how you're going to turn your business around. You know, I just thought about something. I want to see if I can find, let me think. I got time for that. There's a document I wanted to show you guys. Let me see if I can. I think this would be worth it if I can find it. Give me 1 second here. Goodness. Give me 1 second here. Am I still screen sharing? I am. Okay. Give me 1 second. This is very, very, very. I think this would be a good idea to show you this. Let me stop real quick so I can find it, because I want to show you one of the things that I created on the heels of being influential and giving value and whatever. Give me 2 seconds. This is total inspiration. I'm just pulling this off the top of my head, so bear with me as I pull this up, y'all. Julie, while I'm doing that, are there any questions or comments? I would love to hear how the people are taking this information. So can you take a look and tell me if there's any comments or questions?
The comments are, I mean, everybody so far is just loving this. Let's hear David Henning. Holy cow, Batman, I believe it. What's up, Dave Henning? It's great to be on here. Yeah, we've got a lot of people watching. Awesome. Good. Yeah, awesome leader, Larry.
Okay, I'm almost there. I know where it is. I'm almost to it. I want to just give you this visual, because this will transform. This right here will help some people really take more action tomorrow once they see this. Okay, as soon as I get it up here. All right. Okay, boom, it's up. All right. So let me screen share again. Okay, where is it? Let me find it. What I do with it? Boom. All right, here it is. All right, Julie, can you confirm for me you can see my desktop?
Definitely can see it.
All right. So I'm showing you this for a very specific reason. Okay. So look at what I have here. Now, this is specific for the direct sales and network marketing industry, but I want to show you this visually to understand the power of influence. And I want you to see how easy it is to be a person of value, to be an authority and have credibility by simply knowing just a little bit more than everybody else knows that you want to reach. So I created this document, and my concept of this document was to conceptualize what are the things that my market needs to know. What do I know as their common pain points? And how can I step into that space and be valuable? Now, what I had to set aside is the belief that somebody else knew it already. It doesn't matter who already knows it. That's irrelevant. Number two, I had to set aside the idea that there was somebody out there that, knew more than I did about it, had more success. None of that matters. What matters is there's somebody suffering, and you can be the person that they start to believe in that has a solution. So look at these headlines. And I just broke them up into categories, and I conceptualized I could create a little mini series every single week, and I can just start sharing. So like recruiting mastery, 6 steps to recruiting better quality people. Who wouldn't want to know 6 steps to doing better quality people, recruiting better quality people? My 5 favorite lead generation tactics on and offline, blah, blah. You can read it. Blueprint on how to run weekly team calls. 3 ways of knowing who and who not to spend your time with on your team. 5 things that cause people to quit. So my point is this. The choices that we have as consumers, as business owners, entrepreneurs, we're bombarded with crap. But the way that you stand out is to be consistent at delivering the type of value that people want to show up for. You want to get to the point where people, I had a guy say to me one time that he risked his job one day to listen to one of my Facebook Lives. I said, what? He said, yeah. He said, you popped on, man, and I saw it, and I was at my desk, and I just jumped up and went to the bathroom and went into a stall. I said, come on, man, really? He said, I'm telling you honestly. And he said, because every time I see your name, I already know I'm going to be better if I just take a moment. I said, but to risk your job? He said, well, I wasn't really meaning to risk it. I said, but I just knew that I needed that content right now. But that doesn't happen the first time you do it. It takes time. It takes you showing up day in and day out, and being consistent with delivering good quality value. And knowing that just because a person doesn't like it today doesn't mean they won't like it tomorrow. And I mean, like, press the like button, but don't be addicted to that. A lot of people see stuff that they don't acknowledge. It's okay. But if you continuously show up, eventually you'll get people listening to you, following you. You'll get to the point where you think about who David Sharp is. David Sharp started off where you might be right now. David Sharp wasn't always David Sharp, the David Sharp that we know him as today. But what did David Sharp do? He did what I like to talk about in one of my favorite analogies as I wrap up. So I want to talk about some things with legendary marketing that all of you need to know. But I want to tell you a quick story about influence, and this should encapsulate how powerful you can be if you just focus. I saw this picture of a guy sitting in a park, and he had the birds sitting on his head, sitting on his shoulders, sitting on his knees, and he was feeding them out the palm of his hand. And I thought to myself, when I walk into a park, the birds run from me, the ants run from me, the squirrels run from me. How is this guy able to do this in a public park? And I thought about it, and this is how he did it. One day he decided that he wanted to feed the birds, and maybe that was his vision to get to that point. But from day one, he opened his car, got some bread, jumped out the car, threw some crumbs out there, and not a single freaking bird flew down. Even though he knew he had the right bait for those birds, not a single one flew down while he was there. He got up, he left. That was the first day. He came back to that same park at that same time with that same type of bread, threw that same bread out. No birds flew down while he was standing there. He leaves, that's the second day. He does it the third day. He does it the fourth day. He does it the 15th day. He does it the 25th day. Now, he happens to notice every time he comes back, the bread is not there, but they never consume it in front of him. So one day, these birds have this meeting in the trees. Say, you know, this dude's going to be back here tomorrow, right? So maybe we can incentivize this clown to leave some more bread because he's not leaving enough for most of us. So maybe one of us needs to fly down and show him some gratitude. So who's it going to be? So the birds are in the trees drawing straws, and David Sharpbird gets the short end of the stick. So David Sharpbird has to fly down and jeopardize his life to prove to this dude that it's safe for him to be able to give more bread, right? So here comes the guy at the same time, same area, same bread. He throws the bread out. David Sharpbird sees that bread, gets his courage up and flies down, lands on it, grabs it, and shoots back up to the trees. And all the birds in the trees are watching to see that he didn't die, right? So that guy leaves. Next day comes back, David Sharpbird flies down, grabs the bread, and then one of his other friends, Julie Bird, comes down. Julie Bird and David Sharpbird are now eating bread, right? So every single day, more and more birds start coming down because they see the guy what? Showing up at the same time with the same bread to them same birds. And over time, they start to congregate around that spot where they know he's going to come. And then one day the guy gets smart, he sits down, he throws the bread, and they hit it. And then he throws the bread at a shorter distance, and they hit it. Shorter distance, shorter distance, shorter distance, shorter distance. And finally he drops that bread right at his feet. Now the bird's a little skeptical about that. Like, we've been trusting you up to this point, but dude, you want us to get that close to you? Well, guess who was the first bird to step up? David Sharpbird was the first bird to step up. So he comes down and he leans down, and now this bird is eating out the palm of this guy's hand, literally, for the first time. Then over time, the picture I just described is made possible because somebody walks through the park and go, wow, look at that. And they snap a picture. So what's my point, ladies and gentlemen? Feed the birds. Consistently. Value, education, information, solving problems, answering questions, relieving pain, giving advice. That's how you get there. That's how influence is created. That's where the biggest money is made as people of influence. The athletes, the celebrities, the politicians, you know, the multiple $1-million marketers online. They get there not because they just know how to run ads. They get there because their ads have influence. Their content changes lives. Their content moves the needle in people's lives. Are you willing to be consistent even when you don't see the result? Because even if you don't see a result, that doesn't mean you're not getting one. I learned that lesson early on when I was putting 40 and 50 back when article marketing was hot before blogging. When I was putting up articles, 50, 60, 80 articles at a time, and I would come back and look, and I would get like 4 views. Like, damn, that article was good. I spent an hour preparing and only 4 people seen it. I come back the next day, same place, 5 views. So a total of 9 views in 2 days after 2 hours of work. But over time, because I was consistent, 50 people show up, 100 people show up, 200 people show up, 300 people show up. But that's in your future, because I knew and understood that if I stay consistent with my value, value trumps everything. Or excuse me, value plus consistency trumps everything. You can have value, but if you're sporadic, it's not going to matter. But if you're consistent with giving crap, that's not going to matter. You got to have value and consistency. That creates the real influence that you want. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? I hope it does. So let me jump back over here. All right. So to wrap up, I'm going to talk about 10 things that every top influencer possesses. So do you want to be a top influencer? Do you want to really transform your bank account? The only way that's going to be possible is if you influence a lot of people. Okay, so let's get into that. Number one, I just said this, predictable consistency. One of my buddies named Ray Higdon, some of you know Ray Higdon. I have an audio that I have that's similar to this, and I talk about him, and I basically say, every single day of my life, I know 2 things are going to happen. The first thing that's going to happen, I know for sure, is that the sun is going to come up. And the second thing that I know is going to happen is that I'm going to get an email from Ray Higdon. Now, I've been getting emails from him since 2011, and I mean every day. And I said that if I ever thought whichever one of those things would quit first, it would be the sun coming up. Are you that consistently predictable or predictably consistent? Is that who you are? Are you like the broken sink that's dripping, 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 dripping? Are you that clock that's ticking in the background all the time, just consistently showing up? If you want to be a powerful influencer, you have to be predictably consistent. You know the sun's going to come up no matter what. Even if you don't see it because it's clouds out, you know that sun is in the sky. And that's how you have to be as a marketer if you want to be a powerful influencer. By the way, as I go through these 10, think about somebody who you respect as somebody that's highly influential or successful, and I guarantee you they have all 10 of these. Number 2 is a definite sense of purpose. You can't be willy-nilly and all over the place. You can't have one direction and then another direction. And you got to have a definite sense of purpose. You got to sell out to one direction. Be purposeful and know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. Number 3 is a strong and growing knowledge base. What you learn today is not good enough for tomorrow because things are constantly changing. The greatest amongst us are constantly evolving their knowledge base. I shouldn't have to twist your arm to read. You're reading something every day. You're reading a Facebook post, aren't you? So why don't you take your eyeballs off of that junk and put it in a book? Some of you struggling with money problems. Why? You're not growing your knowledge base. Some of you are struggling in marketing. Why? You're not growing your knowledge base. But all influencers are constantly growing their knowledge base. They're not staying the same. Today is over with. The only thing that matters is what you're going to do tomorrow with your knowledge. Number 4, communicators. This could be verbal. This could be written, but influencers are master communicators. By the way, I would recommend everybody consider going to a Toastmasters chapter and joining. Toastmasters is an organization that's designed to help you become a better verbal communicator. It gets rid of some of the things that cause you to not sound influential. Believe it or not, there's content like websites like copyblogger.com that can teach you how to masterfully communicate headlines, masterfully communicate how to construct sentences that get people to read the next sentence and read the next sentence. Because as long as they're reading your sentences, you're influencing them in what you're communicating. Some of you send out emails that are terrible because you haven't mastered the art of communicating an email. You think you just write whatever and send it, people are supposed to just understand it. No, there's a science and an art to it. But an influencer is mastering continuously their skills of communication. Influencers are incredible rapport builders. If anybody has ever been around David Sharp, you'll know that he draws people. He builds incredible rapport. That's a skill that you can cultivate. I misspelled incredible. Look at that. Number 6. This is where the crowd thins out right here. Right here is where the crowd thins out. Work ethic. You want to be an influencer, you got to have a maniacal work ethic. Okay? You got to have a maniacal work ethic. I saw one of the first millionaires I was around is a guy named Cedric Harris. Okay. And Cedric Harris, I stayed at his house one night before I moved to Florida. And I remember getting up and going to the bathroom about 1 o'clock in the morning, right? And I heard Cedric's voice. But I didn't just hear his voice. He sounded like it was the middle of the day. I'm like, what? So I walked down the hallway and he's on the phone doing a three-way call at 1 o'clock in the morning. But not only that, I had been with him that whole day, and I guarantee he took 40 or 50 three-way calls. That's all he was doing that day. Then he was up to 1 o'clock doing the three-way, and he got up the next morning at 7 o'clock to do it all over again. I remember one time he got on the conference call and said, I'm going to get about 8 hours of sleep this week. And I listened to that, I'm like, what? And I just couldn't connect to that work ethic. But he and one of the companies that I was with him in was the fastest to ever get to that rank. And this company had tens of thousands of people. He was the fastest to ever get to that rank. Why? Because he had a maniacal work ethic. He wanted that thing bad enough to go out and fight for it. He wanted that thing bad enough to go after it day and night. He gave up his time. He gave up his peace. He gave up his sleep. He gave up eating. He gave up relaxation. He gave up luxuries and leisure. He gave it up. He stopped going to the barbershop for a little while. He took baths, of course. But my point is, he had a sick work ethic. I'm spending a lot of time on this one because it matters. If I ask you to show me your calendar right now and there's more white space than other colors, you don't have a maniacal work ethic. Gary Vee says if you have to ask somebody why they're getting up so early to do XYZ, you just exposed yourself. You just exposed yourself as an amateur sucker. Now, consider whatever you're doing right now that you can push harder and you can push longer. You can. But if you want to be an influencer, it's going to take a maniacal work ethic. Number 7 is a go-giver spirit. Giving people value. That's the whole point of the bread story with the birds. What are you giving to the marketplace? I mean, the basics of a sales funnel begins with a giveaway. Some of you are not just giving away enough to be influential. Number 8, unshakable focus. Are you easily distracted? Is every 5 seconds Facebook is dinging and ringing and binging and you're on it? You're never going to really build the power of an influencer if that's who you are. Number 9 is crystal clear vision. Why are you doing what you're doing? And what's it going to take to get there? And then number 10 is being mentored by other great influencers. And David Sharp is one of the best that there is, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something about David Sharp as I wrap up. And this is because I know David and I respect David as a businessman, as a successful entrepreneur, and that the system that he built with Legendary Marketer, it's one of the sweetest concepts to help empower a person to get success without having a lot of right now influence or authority. It really is. Like, for example, this book. And by the way, this book right now is we're selling this book here at Legendary Marketer. You should order a copy of this book. Okay. David Sharp is a legendary marketer. He really is. That's just not a cliche. That's who he is. But when you think about a system that conceptualizes the weakest parts of a person's ability to make money online, and they embody all of that in a system to such a degree that all you have to do is show up and learn how to do one thing, and that's generate traffic. That's it. The next thing that happens is that the system takes over. Some of you have no idea how to write emails. Well, the email system is already done because David Sharp has $1 million email marketing skill that can influence people to keep listening, keep watching, keep showing up, and ultimately start buying. And then when they start buying, next thing you know is you got these 5 amazing coaches on the background who all have made 6 figures who do the selling for you. I had a conversation with a lady today, and I posed this question to her. I said, if it were possible for you to right now make $10,000 a month and never ever learn how to close a product and still make the money, wouldn't it make sense that you would want to take advantage of that? Or I said it this way, if you could hire a person who has a proven track record of making six figures, and you only have to spend a couple $1,000s one time, and from then on out, anybody that comes through your system, that person is going to close them for you. You have a Larry Beechum or a Bill or Anthony or a Rosala or an Andrew on the back end that already have influence, that already have authority. Wow, I wish I had that when I got started. But that's why this is such a powerful platform, because they get it. 90% of the work we do. But I want to encourage all of you, go grab a copy of this book. Go grab a copy of this book. It'll be worth it. It's the most relevant and the most right now relevant information that there is. Seriously. And I'll end with this, and I'll put, you see I've got author highlighted in authority. If you really want to have authority, you got to author something. You got to create something. That's the key to influence. And until then, until you feel comfortable with that, all you got to do is partner with somebody or something that has that power to influence and leverage. So with that being said, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to coach you through how you can be more influential. I'm grateful for this opportunity. If it were not for my own influence and success, I couldn't be here. Not everybody can be in this spot, and I'm grateful and humble for that. But I want you to be the voice that we hear, because you fought to get here. You decided that you were going to be influential. You decided that you were going to make a difference in the marketplace. You can do it. I did it. I ain't nobody special. I just got a maniacal work ethic. I'm not a big shot. I'm just a little shot that kept on shooting. So with that being said, Julie, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity. I hope I did some justice to all of you listening to me tonight. Julie?
You sure did. I was reading comments as you were training, and amazing stuff. By the way, we do have some requests coming in to actually get a copy of your presentation, as well as the list that you shared, the series that you go over. So if you're willing to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. I figured you would, but I wanted to ask and be courteous before I said, hey, everybody, we're going to give this to you for free. I just wanted to ask. And if you guys really like Larry's training, oh my gosh, there you go. Thank you, Larry. That was awesome. That's from Robert. Julie. Hey, Julie. Thanks, Larry. Awesome webinar. Let's see here. Larry, that was badass, bro. Andre. Maribel, you got it. You got it, girl. We're going to get you hooked up with that. She's actually the one who asked if she could get a copy. So we'll get you guys taken care of.
Okay.
Now, Larry, do you have your copy? Did you pre-order your copy of the book?
Absolutely. As soon as David announced it, that same day I ordered it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I did too. And, that's one of the things that, we do here. We really stand behind the stuff that we are promoting and the stuff that we sell. We work for the company, but I went out, and as soon as I knew that book was being launched and the pre-order was available, I went out and snagged my copy as well. So I went out and ordered it. I paid the $7.95. It's worth it. I'm excited to get it because I know, being behind the scenes, I know how much value is inside of it. So I'm just excited to actually get, that copy in my hands, because I'm like an actual book reader. I like to actually have a book in my hands to read.
Same here.
Rather than, scroll through the digital copy. I know we got the digital copy, but I really love to have that book in my hands to be able to read. So I'm excited to get it. If you guys want to refresh your screens, you can actually click on the link that says click here to pre-order the book Legendary Marketer. So if you have not secured your copy yet, refresh your screen. It'll take you to your back office to log in, and you'll be able to go ahead and order that.
Good stuff.
And if you guys would like a copy of Larry's presentation, I would personally like you to just go ahead and email us at support@Legendary Marketer. And I'm going to let all of our customer support reps know to be looking out for your emails. And they will send you a link to where you can download all of Larry's training materials for tonight. Well, as soon as Larry sends that stuff over to me tonight, we'll make sure we get up on a page for you guys to download. But that's only for you that are actually watching. We're not just going to blast this out to everybody on an email list. We're going to actually make sure that you can put a little work in, send us an email, let us know you watched, let us know you got some value out of Larry's training tonight. Make sure you get a copy of that book. And then, let's just have a fantastic week. I mean, this was amazing, Larry. I just have to say, amazing job tonight. You always bring the value. People are loving it. And we really appreciate you taking the time out of, your busy day. It's almost 10 o'clock at night. And
it's all good. It's all, as soon as we get done, I got a couple calls to get on. So
awesome.
I'm living this. I want people to appreciate that this is not a put all. I mean, this is how we get it done. And if I've influenced you positively, that's good. I want you to take what you've learned tonight and turn it into your own success. There's nothing stopping all of us from really challenging ourselves, getting in the mirror and getting eyeball to eyeball with him or her in that mirror and say, you deserve better than what you've been doing. You deserve to be better. You deserve to have more. And it's up to you to get it done. You know what I mean? And just give yourself that punch in the face, so to speak, because I had to do it a few times because I had some limiting beliefs and things that prevented me from thinking that I could be successful. But I said, damn that. When I go in my bedroom, my kids' rooms at night and they're sleeping, I look at their faces. I'm like, you know what? They need me to be a winner because there ain't no other savior coming. I am the savior. There ain't no Superman flying down out of the sky to rescue us. I am that Superman. And you are that guy or girl for your household. So don't wait. You are the man or the woman. Just take action and just have faith that it'll work, because it will if you're giving value and people believe in you. People will let me say this, two things. People with integrity expect to be believed, and when they're not, they let time prove them right. And the greatest revenge on anything is massive success.
Yes, I have heard that one before. It's fantastic.
So with that being said, I'm gear up in the double overtime. I apologize. I'm going to turn it back over to you. I got a call to get on in 3 minutes, so thank you all for listening. I'm grateful. So we'll get that value out to you and make sure that you learn more. If you don't know about Legendary Marketer, take a moment and get back to the person that invited you to this and ask them, what is Legendary Marketer? How can I learn more about it? And they will get you more information. You deserve to know.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Larry. And everybody, thank you for hopping on tonight and taking an hour out of your evening on a Monday night to go over this training with us. And I hope everybody has a fantastic night and a fantastic week. And if you want Larry's training, make sure to email us at support@legendarymarketer.com and we will make sure to send that over to you guys.
Night, everybody.
Good night.